right, so I gave you guys that bar graph and histogram thing, and I think that we weren't quite sure on the difference. So first of all, let's talk about the difference between a bar graph and a histogram. Bar graphs are for what? Kind of. Categorical. Okay, bar graphs are your categorical, and there are spaces in between, right? Histograms are quantitative, and there are no spaces in between unless there's nothing in that region, right? If you don't have any numbers between 20 and 22, then there would be a space, but otherwise they're back to back. All right. So most of the time we actually use a histogram for showing the distribution, and it comes from a dot plot. So we're going to divide the range of data into classes of equal width, right? So maybe I'm going to go by 5s, maybe I'm going to go by 2s. It just depends on your data. And we find the number that's within that range, right? So how many do I have from 0 to 2? How many do I have from 2 to 4? How many do I have from 4 to 6? Okay? You get to decide if 6 is the cutoff, whether that's going in the upper bar or the lower bar, okay? But make sure you're consistent if you're going to all go down or all go up. And then we've got percents. You can also make a histogram. That's relative frequency, where you make it, I had like 20 numbers within this range out of the 50 people I interviewed, so you do a percent instead. Sometimes the percents actually help us see the graph better, okay? And of course, label and scale your axes, okay? If you forget that, you will definitely lose points on the AP exam, so definitely I would probably put a title too, just to be sure. It doesn't say that on here, but label your axes. Probably put a title on there. Adjacent bars should touch. That's what we already talked about, okay? That's the percent, 0 to 5, of people who were born outside the U.S. So most states, 20 states, had less than 5%, okay? 5 to 10, 13 states, 10 to 15, 9 states, okay? One state had the highest. All right. So then we're going to make it into a histogram, right? So we label our axes, percent of foreign-born residents, number of states on the other side, and of course, turn that into a histogram, all right, where they're side by side. All right, here are several cautions based on common mistakes. Don't confuse histograms and bar graphs. So we talked about those, right? So your bar graphs are for categorical. Don't use counts in a frequency table or percents in a relative frequency table as data. Use percents instead of counts on the vertical axis when comparing distributions with different numbers of observations. All right, just because it looks nice doesn't mean it's a meaningful display of data. All right, so it has to make sense to you and to the reader. So that's it for 1.2. Yep. Oh, we're not doing that one. All right, so we're going to start with a little less data and make a histogram. So if you guys have an Inspire, you go to the back of the book, Appendix 6, okay, near the back. It has a whole bunch of calculator stuff. If you have the 83 or 84, then you go to page 36 in your book. Okay, we're going to go through the steps of making one with the heights of